All right, everybody, welcome back to Reflections of the Council. I am DM Cross here with Frexine Walker, as always, for this live podcast. It's live right now. Of course, if you're seeing this on YouTube or listening to it on Libsyn or SoundCloud, you are listening to a recording. We do have a special guest today. BushCrafty is one of our biggest regulars for streams, really, in the past couple of months, right?
Yeah, I've tried to at least get it once a week.
Yep. And so we're going to be talking about something pretty cool. This is actually Bush's idea, so I do want to say thank you first off for being such an awesome guest and coming up with the idea and doing a lot of the research. Because this week, this Friday actually, we are going to be having a new season of 3DH. What we want to talk about is basically the change in some of the cards that are coming down in budget, or even some of the new cards that are going to be in budget for the first time. Obviously, Battle Bonds is now going to be added to the season, and then Guilds of Ravnica is going to become legal, and a lot of the cards that we're super excited to play with are going to be in budget. So we're all very excited about that. So, I know you have a list.
Yes.
What do you want to go over first?
Should we go over the bad or the good?
I don't know, Frexing. You want to talk about stuff leaving us, or do you want to talk about stuff?
I think maybe the leaving would be better, and then we can start talking about the stuff that's going to come in.
Let's start with the leaving.
All right, so what is everybody's favorite card that we're not going to get to play with anymore?
Well, some of the cards on this list are not so much cards that you can't play with anymore as cards that might not be as realistic to play with anymore. And one of the cards I'm kind of like sad to see go is Thran Dynamo. And again, it's 49 cents now, so it is still playable. But it's just such a great mana rock. It's such a great mana accelerator. I ran it in a lot of my decks, especially in Season 1 when it was 8 cents. It dropped from a few of my decks when it was up to 21 cents for Season 2, but now at 49 cents, I just don't see many decks that I'm going to be able to run it in anymore unless it's 49 cents is too much of the budget. I mean, you're talking 1/6 of the budget to commit to a mana rock. So it's going to see a lot of replacement with just Hedron Archive and other, like maybe Sisei's Ring or less good mana rocks. You know, the 4 for 2 instead of the 4 for 3s.
Well, that's with a Thran Dynamo, it's good, but like unless it had an ability like Chromatic Lantern, for instance, I would be willing to risk a portion of the deck for a Chromatic Lantern effect, but not just for what, 3 or 2 extra mana.
Pretty much. You also got to remember, like, Chromatic Lantern is gonna always be a big card as long as it stays in budget, of course, for 3 color and up decks.
Yeah.
Because of the fixing, because it's hard for us to sometimes get those good lands or stuff like that, or like the fetches or whatever. So Chromatic Lantern's always going to be a pretty cheap, especially they just reprinted it too, right?
Yeah. So right now it is 1 cent right now on the budget.
It is definitely gone down to a point where it's going to go in. Actually, I might even risk it and throw it in any deck, like 2 color decks.
Yeah, or any deck where you might clone, copy, or steal anything.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, like what I like.
Hey. Like Bush. Like you just Bush. Every deck Bush plays, right?
It's all about that one
steal effect.
You know?
All right, what's something else that we're either losing or going to have a lot harder time justifying?
Bush, you got one?
Oh, actually, because it's in one of my favorite decks that's been winning a lot lately, it's my Riku deck. I had Hydra Omnivore in there, but that's going to have to come out now.
And what's Hydra Omnivore app up to?
Let me see. I actually did not bring it up.
While he's looking that up, for those people who are listening on SoundCloud or Libsyn, Hydra Omnivore is a green Hydra creature. It's an 8/8. It costs 4 green, and whenever it deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to each other opponent. So you hit one person with it, you hit everybody with it.
It's 90 cents.
It's currently at 90 cents, yeah. And it was like at 29 or something like that. It's worth it because of the effect, but not 90 cents.
Yeah, not a third of the budget.
Al Smartman calls it the prototype Myriad Hydra. It
was so good. It's just it causes a threat to everybody all at once, and that's just such a nice effect.
Yeah, especially if there is somebody who doesn't have blockers or some kind of removal, or it basically becomes everybody's problem at that point.
Or pillow forts. When you have a pillow fort player, it's just kind of nice to just go, I'm going to attack this guy and not worry about you because you're going to die slowly.
Yep. God, could you imagine if you gave this thing Myriad?
That's I just thought that's
Hashtag
nice.
Blade of Selves. Let's
That's
do
what
it.
I'm saying. You bladed
Yeah.
sell this thing?
It's not going to be in a normal 3DH deck, but I'm going to go EDH, and I'm definitely going to try that at least once. So.
Blade of Sells the Hydra. Hydra. That's,
Yeah,
oh my god, you just killed somebody almost.
Pretty much you do, I think.
Yeah, that's
it's 24 damage. It's 8 times
Esper
3.
says he's done it, in fact, and the game ended.
Oh,
yeah, I would believe it. That's a game ender right there.
Especially when you're getting to the point where you are casting like 6 mana stuff and then having enough to equip Blade of Selves to it for the attack. That's 10 mana total. So in that mid to late EDH game, I would call that mid to late. Yeah, I could see 24 damage being kind of the end of the game. If not, it's a crippling strike to a lot of people.
It's like when Blade of Selves came out, we all instantly knew Kakusho, and Blade of Selves was just an amazing effect.
Well, what's wrong?
The amount of life swing on it is just too much.
What's wrong with Yosei and Blade of Selves?
See, Yosei is just that's making people hate you. Like, it's one thing to lose life, but it's another not to untap.
I mean, I want to have fun. There's a finite amount of fun in every game of Magic, and I want to have it all.
What if Yosei was played against you? Because I know you actually said something not too long ago about Yosei.
It's been played against me. I had a Carador lock on me once.
Yeah, and you didn't like that.
Not for the stream, but in like regular games. In regular games, it's fine, but in streams, it's just like, all right, either like you're winning now, right? We're moving on to the next game, right?
It should win you the game.
As long as you can repeat it enough, yeah, it's probably a win.
Blade of Selves every turn.
Well, DM, is there a card on our little list here that you're particularly interested in or sad to see go?
I'm just always sad to see cards go in general. It's always rough to see stuff that I play in every deck. I always fear for like my core pieces to go, but I don't know. I guess I play kind of like janky stuff because I don't think any big core stuff, like even like Terran Dynamo, to me it's easily replaceable.
Well, that's the thing. There hasn't, like, I was trying to find. There's just not a lot of core cards leaving.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean Skull
really.
Clamp's on this list, right?
Well, Skull Clamp it's come back down because it was like 98 cents, and then it went back down to 70 something.
Yeah, so it's still floating that same, like, if you're really willing to dedicate a lot of your budget to it, you can play it, and some people are for certain decks. So it just kind of depends. Because I know I've seen you run it at 70 some cents, DM.
Yeah, I mean certain decks it's just too good. I mean, I was talking before we what's that, Bush?
But I don't know about 90 cent worth it.
No, I ran it when it was at 85, so it was very close. I forget what deck I ran it in when it was 85, but I felt like it was a pretty core piece where I was making obviously a lot of 1/1 tokens. I think if I were to run it,
was it your Prosh list?
I think so.
I think it was
like the right one, right? Yeah. Speaking of,
I think it was your Prosh list where you still ran it.
I know. I'm segueing really early, but can we jump a little bit to the other list?
No, sir.
But I want to have all the fun.
I know. We can have all the fun later. Let's talk about...
Esper Derek brought out a good one with Chaos Warp now going up to 41 cents. Which
that was on my list, Esper.
Yeah. I think for any deck that has multiple colors, that's not too big of a deal. But for the mono red decks, I mean, you still have stuff like Meteor Golem, right? Meteor Golem's still sitting at like next to nothing, I think.
Yeah, Meteor Golem is still really low. Actually, Spine of Isha came down.
I thought we weren't on that list.
It was always legal, DM. It just came down to 6 cents instead of like 20 cents.
But we're talking about going up. You're going the wrong direction.
Well, you start talking about cards that were replacements for Chaos Warp, and yeah, there's seven mana artifacts, but
yeah,
so it's not really a replacement, but it is one other way for Red to deal with those troublesome permanents that they can't otherwise deal with.
I don't know. I always feel like Chaos Warp as opposed to Meteor Golem, right? Mono Red has a lot of artifact shenanigans, so I always feel like Meteor Golem should be the better answer. Yet, like, yeah, it's 7, whatever, but there are ways to cheat out artifacts. There's ways to recur artifacts if you can put it in the graveyard, and we know Mono Red's form of card draw is looting. I feel like Meteor Golem should be the right answer because Chaos Orb isn't even always a permanent get rid of, right? You just shuffle it
There's
back
a
in, and
lot of
sometimes they
risk
draw it
behind
back.
it.
On MTGO, it can just flip the same card a freakish amount of the time.
No, the
There's a lot.
shuffler is perfect.
Well, there's a lot of risk because what it reveals and whatever's a permanent puts it back out, right?
Yep.
I mean, what if it's their big baddie that locks you out of the game or wins them the game?
What if you Chaos Warp somebody's Sunbird's invocation and you get their Darksteel Forge?
Yeah. Like, I find Chaos Warp, I don't like playing that card. I've never really liked that card. I actually would prefer a, Beast Within-like effect.
Oh, yeah. Beast Within's a good one because that's any permanent.
Mm-hmm. Any permanent, and it destroys it, and they get a token. What a 3/3.
Yeah. It's typically pretty negligible.
I really got upset that the best thing they could do for red like that is a Chaos Warp.
Yeah, to try to make it even.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, blue got stuff like Reality Shift, Ongify.
Yeah.
Well, I guess those are target creature only.
Mm.
But, alright, so aside from Chaos Warp and...
Well, a couple commanders, I guess I'm sad to see go that I don't know. I might try them. Because I did do Braid around $1, and these are both around $1 right now, is Atraxa and the Mimeoplasm. They're two commanders I had. So Atraxas obviously are, all colors but red for the 4/4 flying vigilance, all the things.
Death Touch and Lifelink.
Death Touch and Lifelink, and then Proliferate at the beginning of your end state. I was actually not running Atraxa. In fact, surprise, it was not one of my Infect commanders. I had two of those, but Atraxa was one of them. I was just running +1/+1 counters.
Get out of my council.
Having fun.
No,
but
sir, you get out of my council. You've
so
fallen off the infectious path.
When was the season 2 start? Like, when did that sheet get made?
M19?
M19.
Yeah. Ironically enough, we set the seasons around standard rotations, quote unquote. Not rotations, but sets coming out. So when a standard set comes out, that's why we didn't do it for Battle Bond, which would have been weird anyway because Battle Bond
almost none of the Battle Bond cards came in.
Yeah, was kind of done half and half, so there would have never been a really good spot. But yeah, M19 because that came right after Dominaria, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
what month was that?
Allsmart Man says around July, he thinks.
Yeah, July.
That sounds about right. So yeah, we've been in season 2 for a while, which is kind of, you don't want to rotate too often because then you have people repressing decks too much. So that it kind of does go with what we wanted, but it does create an interesting thing. Like we've even talked on Jeremy's mod channel about what are we going to do when Commander comes in the middle of December? Because technically after Guilds of Ravnica, the next set doesn't come out until January when that's Ravnica Allegiant. So are we going to make everybody wait for Commander until January? That's a whole month. Probably not. There's probably going to be a mid-season update where either we're just going to add the C18 cards or we're just going to do the reprice and it's going to be a half season. I think adding the cards is probably the right answer though.
Yeah.
As opposed to just repricing everything.
Yeah, if we're talking about the Commander, I hope that we don't have to wait that long for the Commander, just because there's a lot of cool little cards that I wouldn't mind seeing in the format.
Yeah, and honestly, the best time to do it is while they're still in chest. That's another thing. If we wait until January and they come out of chest, the prices are going to spike back up. So if we want to play with them at all, because even Edgar Markov and stuff like that, we don't really get to play with too much all that often because usually it's hard to find them. Because they're out of chest, so they're not. You're not getting more of them. So, I think probably what we'll do is the 2 weeks after Commander hits, we'll try to do a what do you call it? A mid-season update.
So, Magical Hacker asked a question on here: were there ever discussions about what to do about the 33-ish commanders that can't even be squeezed into a 3DH deck?
Like what?
I don't know. He asked the question. Ask him.
I know.
Talking about the overpriced commanders, the ones that are too expensive for 3DH?
We're talking about like Marin and his ilk, or what are you talking about? Because I thought there were more than 33-ish that couldn't be played.
Yeah, there's quite a few.
Arjun.
This
Okay.
Arjun.
So this goes right back to kind of what we're talking about already, which is that certain cards are always going to be outpriced because they're in commander sets to Nicol Bolas. Is Nicol Bolas not 30H legal?
No, because of it being played in standard so much. The new Nicol Bolas.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that's kind of always a part of the format. You're always going to have cards. I mean, the Scarab God, because of it dominating standard for a while, was priced out constantly.
Yep.
And now that it's gone from standard and stayed out and was out standard for a while and didn't really find a place in modern or somewhere else, the price has gone down and it's playable. But there will be certain cards that stay relevant in standard and then modern or even in legacy that it's just one of the unfortunate things of the format that I guess we won't get to play those.
Well, that's like his suggestion for Arjun. That's only ever been printed in Commander?
Yep.
And so that will never ever see 3DH because I don't see it seeing another printing, for years, if anything.
Yeah. So the only time it ever really comes down, because Mathis did this a while back, is if they put it back into the treasure chests. If they put them back into the treasure chest and it basically makes a more readily available supply, the price can go down. Now, if that coincides with when we do a season, there's a chance that they'll become playable for a season. So if Mathis is only, let's say for some reason Mathis is back in chess and he goes down to 60 cents and we cut season 3 in the end of Friday, he's playable for the season. He'll go right back up as soon as they take him out of chess. But he's locked in for the season, so we'll get Mathis, right? Or Edgar Markov or Lycia or any of the other ones. So it's all about timing a little bit, so it's kind of a weird thing. I'm just saying something like, what if you count all the commanders more than 2 ticks as though they were 2 ticks? We actually originally, when we first came up with the format, even talked about the commander not being part of your budget. And at the end of the day, the entire idea behind 3DH is presenting a budget-friendly format so that people don't ever feel pressured to spend a lot of money. We wanted to present something like literally 3 tickets, $3. Here you go, make a deck. And we want to continue that theme, and any kind of deviation or exception to the rule starts pushing us closer to having a higher budget, even though your budget's $3. It pushes how much people are going to spend, and we didn't want to do that. We wanted it easily accessible to everybody, even if they only had the $3 on them.
Yeah, and I don't think you're losing some, but what you're losing is I'm not so sad to not see Marin in the format. I'm sorry, because I think Marin's just a deck that we'd see get terribly overplayed. And while I liked my Atraxa deck and I like playing it, it is a deck that a lot of people made an Atraxa deck because it's just a very common commander in general. You've seen a lot of it's been done a lot. There's a lot of deck techs and stuff out there to help you build the deck, so it just ends up that a lot of these come out. And so some of these commanders, like the more expensive ones, I'm not sad to see out of the format.
And the thing about Atraxa is she's really powerful. Even regardless, the types of builds she comes in are just a little on the powerful side anyways.
Sometimes even when you're doing janky stuff with her, it can be really strong. I mean, +1/+1 counters is probably not the optimal way to build her, but it still can win games. Yeah. And then what was I going to say? I mean, some of these commanders like Atraxa. That was what I was going to say. What about when Brawl, Chief of Compliance, was really popular in 1v1? I mean, even though he wouldn't do as well in a multiplayer format as he would in 1v1, where you have to be able to counter more than one person's things, I think it would be miserable to sit there with a commander that feeds into the ability to stop people from playing the game. Especially once you get to the point where you're playing Forbid or something, which I don't know if it's 3 days legal off the top of my head, but let's say you could play Forbid.
It is.
Okay, well, there you go. Brawl making Forbid cheaper and then fueling to be able to keep doing Forbid, it's just, that to me sounds terrible.
Well, there's a lot of, I actually think Brawl is pretty strong in a multiplayer commander. Just, you have to have the more expensive cards though, in super competitive formats. I've seen him win turn 3.
Yeah. And So what some people are saying with the whole just setting higher than a certain price as a certain price, that just added another rule that new players were going to have to figure out. And we wanted that was another thing, right? Like we wanted the format to be really simple. Here's this spreadsheet. Put the card name in there. If it comes up card not found, it's not legal. If it comes up with a price, it is there. If you run out of budget, you got to go back and fix it. If you have over budget, that's fine. Like we tried to make it as simplistic as possible for as many people as possible. 3DH is a very easily accessible format, which is one of the cool things about it that a lot of people even tell us when they do start playing it that they like it about it so much is that it's so easy to get into that we didn't want to mess with that. You don't want to mess with what is probably your biggest pro of the format, really.
Yeah, and I have, like I said, earlier in the stream, I have 52 Season 2 legal decks that I built, and I spent less than you would spend on one EDH deck, whether it's in paper or online. Like, I spent less than you'd spend on one, like, full power EDH deck.
Yeah.
Well, it's
on
like
52.
The first week that I was into 3DH, I mean, I built 4 decks, and I hardly spent anything, and it was easy.
And the cost of one Marin is 5 3H decks, give or take.
I mean, the whole what Click's saying in the chat is the issue with that is if you spell the card wrong by even one letter, it doesn't come up. I mean, you kind of get that on Scryfall too. If you misspell a card sometimes by a letter, it doesn't come up, and you have to figure out how the card is spelled. So, I mean, there's some things you just can't fix.
I think a lot of the times, like when I'm deck building and stuff too, I'm using Gather or EDH Rec or Scryfall or one of those other sites as a reference.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I'm already looking at the card on that. So if I've misspelled it, I just go back. I'm like, oh, okay, well that's the way it's spelled, and I fix it.
Copy or you just paste them.
Well, I don't like doing that because it messes up the formatting of my spreadsheet. But
wow,
doesn't do it for me. I don't know what you're doing.
Wow.
Yeah, that was my nerdy voice right there. But still,
so what's
I don't know what I'm doing
you're always
wrong.
Talking.
Oh.
Can we get a shade GIF? No, because I'm not gonna put that on the screen because that's too much work. But
oh gosh, I'm gonna go over and cry.
Okay.
But no, in all seriousness, yeah, I think like you just have those other resources available, and it's not hard to Scryfall the name of a card.
I almost always do Scryfall anyway because I'm a visual person. You could tell me the name of a card and I might not remember what it does until I see it. Like sometimes just even seeing an art of a card will be like, oh yeah, I remember that because it's got this cool art or it has a picture of this person that I know doing a thing in the story or whatever it is. So for me, sometimes I can't remember what every card does off by name. I'm sorry, there's like 16,000 legal cards in the format. I'm not going to remember them all. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But so we did start off talking about cards that were going a little bit over budget. Obviously, we wanted to lead with the bad part so that we could bring it to the good part. We did discuss before we started doing the part for YouTube and Libsyn and SoundCloud of decks that we were excited to build once they enter the season. So what else comes into the season 3 that we want to talk about?
Do you want to start with the list in order that I put it, or?
We can start with whatever makes you happy because you did all that work.
Well, I guess we'll start at number 10 then. Number 10 on my list is Direfleet Daredevil.
So that is an Exelon card. It's 1 in the red. Human Pirate 2/1 first strike. When it enters the battlefield, exile target instant or sorcery card from an opponent's graveyard. You may cast that card this turn, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any type to cast that spell. If that card would be put into a graveyard this turn, exile it instead. So it's basically opponent's version of Snapcaster Mage, I guess you could call it.
Yeah, it's a steely version of Snapcaster.
Oh, you like to steal things. Oh, we're all surprised.
Well, it's my favorite effect, and it seems to work really well. So.
Wasn't Diluvian Primordial enough for you?
No.
Oh, well, there you go.
So Diluvian costs 7, so it's kind of expensive.
Yeah, but this only hits one person.
Well, what's nice about this is if you get it early and you need ramp, you can play somebody else's ramp.
Or something blow everything up. I don't know. So what is this coming in at?
It's at 47 cents currently.
Oh, wow.
Which, it's a budget of the deck, but I think it could see play. Like I want to see it. I'm gonna try to put it. This actually might be the replacement for my Hydra Omnivore.
Okay. How Smart Man points out that it does allow alternative casting costs too, so that's like your overloads and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a good point, which Diluvian Primordial does not do because you are already replacing it by not casting it in the first place. Like you're casting it, but you're casting it without paying the mana cost, so you can't do that and then replace.
Mm-hmm.
Where is the spreadsheet you guys are talking about? If you go into the 3DH channel on Discord, if you go into the pinned topics, there should be a link to a Google Sheets document that is basically the deck builder. Right now it should say Season 2 version 1.1.1, and we will replace that link with the version 1 of Season 3 come this Friday. What else? So Daredevil. It's actually pretty decently statted too. You're gonna make a pirate deck there and just legit steal stuff. You're gonna make Grissix pirates.
And the pirate commander is in budget too. So
Lord.
Yeah, Beckett Brass.
Yeah.
Yep.
Admiral Beckett Brass.
Admiral, that's what it was.
Yeah, Admiral.
You led me astray there, Fruxian.
I'm sorry, I only said part of the card name.
I know. It's okay. We'll talk about it after. No, I'm just kidding. All right. What else is coming into? So you said Beckett Brass was she already in budget, or is
Yes.
she coming in the budget?
No, she was already in budget because she's never seen play. They tried to see play with her when Ixalan came out, but she just isn't that good. But you know, if you really want to try to do a janky tribe, I think it would be fun.
You know, conspiracy. Everything's a pirate now.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. In Ixalan, 3 mana make every creature you're gonna play a pirate.
Steal everybody's things.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What else we got coming into the lovely little format?
My number 9 is Vile Smasher the Fierce.
Oh boy.
Which that's scary. I mean, because I know that was actually banned in 1v1, right?
Yeah, because at random 1v1, there's one. So it pretty much just said free damage.
Yeah. I mean, I still say it's a powerful commander.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Even in multiplayer, I don't know. It's one of those things where people are like, oh, well, then why'd you play a card with a random effect? It's kind of like, oh, I rolled to see who I was going to attack, I guess. I love Vile Smasher, though. Vile Smasher is a fun card.
It's always nice to have something to smack someone in the face.
Well, I think he's going to replace what's his face. What's the really high costed one that
Carback the Merciless?
Yep.
Yeah, I think he would be a better version, more competitive version of that.
Oh, whoops. A lot of cards.
Yeah, even if you don't want to partner them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do.
The Carback is any spell cast, and
yeah. Well,
Like,
whenever an
Carback
opponent
is
casts a
opponents,
spell,
I think.
yeah. Carvec the Merciless is 5 black red 5/4. Human Shaman. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, it deals damage to target creature or player equal to that spell's converted mana cost. Whereas Vile Smasher is your first spell for the turn. It deals that damage randomly.
Yeah.
Of course, costing only 1 red black and being a smaller creature.
Yeah.
I like the next card specifically. So it's not so much coming into the format as it's just a
he's
new
at
card.
46 cents because I don't think we said that.
Oh, Carvec or Merciless? I mean, not
Vile.
Merciless. Vile Smasher. Okay. So the next one, though, on your list, I'm really excited about because it's 1, my favorite guild.
Mm-hmm.
2,
Same.
I think this is. I like Gonti-like effects, and this is a Gonti-like effect.
It's actually a better Gonti effect. It puts the other cards in the graveyard, so then you can steal more of them.
The only thing I say that it's not a better one is because it's a lot easier to have an enter the battlefield trigger than a combat damage trigger. But it's in colors that I think will enable it well enough.
I almost think it's a balance just because being able to do it repetitively without having to do some sort of trick to get it back to your hand, cast it, back to your hand, cast it.
Okay. So we are talking about Thief of Sanity. It is a Spectre 2/2. It's 1 blue black flyer. It's from Guilds of Ravnica. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, look at the top 3 cards of that player's library, exile one of them face down, then put the rest of the cards into their graveyard. For as long as that card remains exiled, you may look at it, you may cast it, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any type to cast that spell. I do want to point out that they do that a lot. The whole you can, nowadays anyway, they do that a lot, that you can use the mana as though it were any type, and that's really big. It's really important, and I feel like maybe Commander had an effect on there somewhere, like somewhere in, you know, Wizards of the Coast. They were like, hey, all these effects don't work with these like monocolored commanders or commanders that are only certain colors, blah blah blah. So if we change it, it would be a boon to these kind of decks.
Well, yeah, I actually think Commander was the sole reason of why they started doing it that way, because they were noticing when they were printing those cards, it wasn't selling as much in those sets. Like Commander actually wasn't that big during, what's the one that actually had that effect?
I do not remember.
Was it Mirrodin? But Mirrodin, yeah, like people didn't buy it for that. Like that's why I'm glad that they're starting to like that. Actually, Guilds of Ravnica, amazing for Commander, in my opinion.
Yeah, as Phyrexian's been very excited about.
Yes,
with his Golgari cards, some of which we'll talk about on this list.
But Thief of Sanity is at 41 cents currently.
I don't know. Is 41 cents
37
worth it?
cents.
Oh, he refreshed
went down.
on you. He refreshed on you.
Hey, it went down or up?
It went down 37 cents.
Hey, you know, can't complain about it going down. Keep it going down. Everybody sell your copies real quick.
Oh, that's no. Do not manipulate the marketplace. Don't do that.
The more you sell, the better it is.
No. Cut the stream. We're done here.
But I do like this card. I don't know if I like it for even 37 cents. I think it's going to be kind of hard to fit in the budget for 3DH for that, unless you're just really dedicated to this idea. But I do like this card for Commander in general, and it could even work in 3DH. Like I said, it's kind of borderline for me on the budget. I'd like to see it closer to 20, 25 to play, but when you get the access to blue and have all the flicker effects, you know, your ghostly flickers, your what's the other one? Displace.
Or eerie something is
it's not on an
Eerie Interludes
right?
is white, but you've got Displace, you've got Ghostly Flicker, and there's another one. But you've got the access to those blue spells to flicker it. You've got, in addition to already having Conjurer's Closet and other stuff, you've got the copy effects.
It's the deals damage.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This isn't an ETB. This you have to hit with. Oh. But maybe you could do it in like a Lazard or something like that.
But it's in the right colors for that. I mean, you can make it unblockable.
Yeah.
Easily.
Give it Fear, Shroud. Not Shroud.
Yeah.
Well, you still in blue, so you can make bunches of copies of it too. You can write a replication on this and just go to town.
Yeah, there's a lot of good effects that you can do with this. I really see it doing a lot, and plus at 3 CMC, it's not too much of a risk. I'm gonna try to run it in my Rexiel deck.
You would.
Of course, it just, implies more of what I want to do.
Strionic Resonator shenanigans, yeah. So, the next card I do want to touch on really quick, because I think somebody in the chat already talked about it when we were asking for what commanders people were interested in playing. It's Selvala, Heart of the Wilds. Mm-hmm. This is actually, when we first started doing 3DH, I actually wanted to do this one instead of Rishkar, but this was, at the time, way too much, even for us calling it 3DH. We would have been playing like 6DH for me to be able to play this thing, and that obviously wouldn't have been nearly as much fun. So, what is this coming down to now?
It is, well, I don't know. It might have come down since this, but it's 38 on mine.
38. It is 38 cents still.
Okay.
So this is a huge card with a really great effect. It's 1 green Elf Scout 2/3. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, its controller may draw a card if its power is greater than each other creature's power. For green, tap it, add X mana in any combination of colors to your mana pool where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. So it's obviously a very big stompy deck. I think it's going to be like a dumb tribal like Hydra deck or something like that. Anything you could pay X into is going to be really fun to do this, because then you get that much mana back, and then you don't even have to use it for creatures after that. Like, it's just you need to have the biggest creature on the field. So you play like Goreclaw is going to be really good in this deck because you get a discount on it on your big creatures and stuff like that. So I think this will be a really fun commander, and I think we'll see a lot of people explode. I'm terrified of what this is going to do in like Galta decks, because we even talked last week about how Galta almost got banned out of the format. I think Galta is going in decks for Savala now.
Yeah. Firstly, I want to say that Esper Derek was
Well,
actually
Galta is still $1.59, so it might not be, but
oh, okay, fair.
Yeah, Esper Derek is the reason why I even looked at this card, because before I think he even said that he was going to build the deck. He had talked about Savala while we were in a game. And so I was like, you know what, I'm going to look it up. And it went down, and I was like, okay, so that's going to go on the list.
Just want to take a quick second. Magical Hacker asked in the chat, are there any cards that are banned? There are no official bans. It's all just whether it's in budget or out of budget. There are certain cards that we've asked people not to play during stream games just for entertainment value, but they are technically not banned. The streamers is typically like, hey, this card creates an unfun situation. And we talked a little bit about that last week with like Void Winnower and Platinum Angel can be, And then Thrumming Stone is another one that I hate to see on stream. If you bring a Thrumming Stone to my stream, I will go to the next game because it is just torturous to sit and click through on Magic Online. I don't care.
Triggers.
Yeah, I don't care that your deck works that way. Like, that's fine. If it were in paper and we could like speed it up, I'd be fine with it. But it takes forever, especially if you just get lucky on the triggers. It's painful.
Yeah.
But
I just want to use all the mana from Selvala to go into a Genesis Wave. That's all I want to do.
Genesis Wave. I want to use it just to pump out 1/1s. Roam the field with them.
You're greedy, Frexine. That's what you are. Speaking of greedy and getting extra cards and all this other happy nonsense, the next card we're going to talk about is Underrealm Lich, which is again a Guilds of Ravnica card. It is a Golgari card, so Frexine should be thrilled. I'm a little thrilled. It's 3 of black and green, zombie, elf, shaman. It is a 4/3, and if you would draw a card, instead look at the top 3 cards of your library, then put 1 into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. You can pay 4 life to give it indestructible until end of turn, but that does require you to tap it. So I love this card. Yeah. I said when we did like a few weeks ago when we started the podcast and we were doing Guilds of Ravnica like preview seasons and stuff, I love it so much.
Now the worry part is the price. So when I put it on the list, it was down to 30 cents. Oh. It went back up to 70 just like today, I think.
Probably people realizing how much they can hurt me if they manipulate the market like Bush over here.
Well,
30 cents is definitely playable at 70 cents.
Yeah. It depends on how much of a linchpin is in your deck. Like if it really is a key point of how you win. Like if you're playing a Gitrog deck, I actually would sacrifice some of my deck for just a bunch of lands because of how much it can just go through your deck.
Yeah.
But with this is 70 cents and Gitrog is 41, then you're already talking about $1 of your budget gone for 2 cards.
Oh yeah.
I'm not saying
that it's not.
I'm
not building it.
Karlov White Black Spirits with Karlov being $1.10. Don't you talk to me about value for money. I got your money right here.
But no, I think it's a beautiful card, and I actually hope that it may come down right before because it would definitely see a lot of play in a lot of my decks.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit before about cards that are commander specific printed. So I'm actually really surprised to see this one and at least one more on this list here. But the next one we're talking about is Tempt with Discovery. So all the Tempts are commander product cards. And I remember when we started 3DH, like Tempt with Vengeance, the red one that made 1/1 elementals, was basically, it was impossible to play because it was over 3 ticks and it was something
17 ticks.
Yeah.
At one point.
17 ticks?
It was at one point.
But
now it's 1.09 now, so it's went back up, so it's unplayable again.
Yeah. So, like, to see Tempt with Discovery, because it's such a good card, you go get any land, anybody else can get any land, and then you get to go get that land again. So, just to read it off, Tempt with Discovery is a sorcery, 3 and a green. Tempting offer. Search your library for a land card, put it onto the battlefield. Each opponent may search his or her library for a land card and put it onto the battlefield. For each opponent who searches a library this way, search your library for a land card and put it onto the battlefield. Then each player who searched the library will shuffle it. So you get one instance of it, and then for as many times as an opponent takes their instance, you get another one. So you always come out one ahead of everybody else. So
Yeah.
this is, and to get any land, that's a big thing. To tutor any land and potentially get 4, that's crazy. Like,
And the most amazing part is the price that it came down to, because I looked at it when I first entered because I was like, ooh, maybe I can play it. It was just so expensive. It wasn't worth taking a whole entire, what is it, like I think a third or something like that of your deck. I was like, but now it's down to 18 cents, and that's definitely
18.
Playable.
That's going to go in so many decks. I mean, and then granted, again, this is 3DH, so a lot of times we will have to sacrifice like the fetches and everything like that. But any kind of utility land that you could, even if you're going and getting your lands to destroy somebody else's utility land, like your Ghost Quarters or whatever, Tectonic Edge is the other one.
Or your or your Reliquary Towers, just so you have no maximum hand size, or I mean, maybe a Rogue's Passage.
Your Bajuka Bogs.
Your Bajuka Bogs.
Upside, because it's not going to start the whole what is it, Urborg combo.
Because Urborg is still
more fair than it is in normal EDH, where normal EDH, that's what you went for. You went for something to create a ginormous amount of mana and then, do your thing.
Yep.
And we don't really have that in 3DH because those things that produce enormous amounts of mana cost too much. So.
Yep.
Isn't that was a card I think I should have mentioned? Didn't Cabal Coffers go up?
Yeah, it went up. It was one of the ones I was gonna talk about, but then somebody just jumped on and went. Cabal Coffers is up to 61 cents now, so it's another one that was low enough to just like slot into like mono black decks or decks that are running a lot of black even without Urborg, and now it's like probably not gonna happen.
How much is Cabal Stronghold?
Cabal Stronghold is like a cent, maybe 2.
Yeah. That for mono black, that's probably what you're. Oops, that's not how you spell Cabal.
It's 2 cents.
Yeah, I'd even say in a 2-color deck you could probably run it and not be too hindered.
If you're swamp dominant, I would agree. But if that's like kind of your weaker color, then maybe not. So it's going to depend on the balance of your mana base.
Yeah.
But you're right. In 2-color, you can probably still use Stronghold to get a decent amount of value.
Yeah, if it at least pushes you over 4. It's
a
little bit of a ramp.
All my mono black or black heavy decks for season 2 were running both. They were running Cabal Stronghold and Cabal Coffers, and now Cabal Coffers is just not accessible for 61 cents. That's not worth it.
Yeah.
Just for 1 land. As good as Cabal Coffers is, it's not worth it for that 1 land.
Yeah. I know the next card we're going to talk about is very high on probably Bush's list of things that he's excited to play.
I've been playing it and I love it. I can never say it though.
Yeah, Mnemonic Betrayal.
Mnemonic Betrayal.
Mechanics. Episode 1. Mechanics. So this is again a Guilds of Ravnica card, so it's coming into the format. It's coming into the game brand new, really.
Yes.
It is a sorcery, 1 blue black. Exile all cards from all opponents' graveyards. You may cast those cards this turn, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any type to cast those spells at the beginning of the next end step. If any of those cards remained exiled, return them to their owner's graveyards, and then you exile Mnemonic Betrayal. So it's what's everybody saying? It's in a reverse Yawgmoth's Will?
It is, but it's not quite as good as Yawgmoth's Will. Actually, Yawgmoth's Will is good, but it's worse for you because you're exiling things.
Yeah.
This doesn't have that same effect. So whatever you cast, let's say it's an instant or sorcery, goes back to their graveyard.
Yeah. Where
if it had that Yawgmoth's Will ability, it would be so much better because then you just get rid of the stuff out of their graveyard.
Yeah. If what is this coming into the format sitting at right now?
45 cents.
Right now.
45.
Oh, it went down?
It went down to 40 right now.
Oh,
that's like just an hour. Just an hour, and it went down to 40. But I'm still.
Bush has it on refresh every hour he checks. Can I still play it? Can I still play it?
I'm always going to try to play this no matter what, just because I have seen what it does because I have played it against certain people. And it is, well, not just you. I was playing against Kaiser. Kaiser was playing a deck full of rituals.
Ooh. Oh.
Ridiculous. Because all that mana is any color I want it to be at that point.
Yeah. That's funny.
I casted everything out of both players' graveyards almost. That was worth playing.
So would you say this is going to be your season 3 pet card?
Yes. Well, so further up the list is definitely one of my pet cards.
Okay, because we're going to talk
Actually,
about.
that's the reason why it's the end of the list.
All right. So the reason why I ask is because the card that we're going to talk about next is going to, I think, be one of my pet cards. I'm a certain kind of player. I like to do certain things, like sacrifice my
horrible,
creatures for
evil,
value.
demented.
Hey, you know what? It's not my fault that Food Chain is a great card. And Food Chain is going to be 3DH playable. What's it sitting at now? What is Food Chain?
70 cents.
If I will run Skull Clamp at 85 cents, I will run Food Chain and Prosh at 70 cents.
And cut Skull Clamp to do it, because otherwise you won't be able to fit them both.
But like at 70 cents, Food Chain is like, it's worth running in my opinion for the infinite mana combo.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a simple combo too. Just a creature in that, and it's done.
How much is new Squee the Immortal?
I think he's out of budget because there's a deck playing him, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. I would imagine so because
he is
a
a
two-card infinite combo.
Oh, he is?
Mm-hmm.
Here's Squee the Immortal, right?
Infinite Gruul mana, you know?
That's what I'm saying. Oh my god, I'm so happy.
That's ridiculous, but yeah.
I love it.
I thought he was, because there was a deck that I was watching just recently that was using him, I think in Modern?
You don't even have to do the Prosh thing. You just get infinite mana with Squee because it's really hard to remove Squee.
As for Derek, Food Chain.
Food Chain is fine. Everybody, it's fine.
I've already talked about how not fine Food Chain is.
No,
so
we've discussed this a lot.
So we were obviously preparing for today's topic, right? And we wanted to talk about it, blah, blah, blah. And when Bush presented the list, Food Chain was like right where my eyes went. And I was like, what's Food Chain sitting at? Asking for a friend. Valdor's instant response was, no, don't do it. Stop it. You're a terrible person. And I don't disagree with him. However, I'm still going to do it. So, Frexing, do you want to talk about the next one? You haven't talked about a card. I mean, you talked about the cards.
I've talked about all the cards. I've gotten my words in.
Well, we have a quota, and I've got the counter right here, and you're lacking, so, you know.
Is it like one of those little hand clickers?
Yeah, I just stopped clicking after a while to make them do more work. So, Frexine, what's the next one?
I don't know what the next one is.
Oh, you don't have the list up? Fail.
Well, somehow I've got it locked on the camera screen, and I can't pull up the list.
So the next one...
Okay, so can you explain to me how to unlock it from the camera screen, and I can pull up the list again?
You probably full screened it, but Bush can go ahead and say it, and then you can have first dibs instead of me always usurping.
Well, the next one is Kindred Discovery. Another card I was surprised to see come down to this much.
What's it sitting at now?
It is currently 14 from my snapshot that I took, but
this is a really good card.
Yeah, Kindred Discovery. 14, I'm definitely running it in slivers already, and in season 2 it was like 75 cents.
Yeah, it was too much for my blood for any of the tribal decks I was running.
So when we did season 1, it basically killed my Okagachi deck because stuff like Kindred Discovery was just too high. Okagachi himself was too high. Don't get me wrong there, but stuff like Kindred Discovery, where like you get to get so much value from playing a tribe, and oh my god, Kindred Discovery. What blue tribes am I gonna play this season just to draw all the cards? Wizards? Am I gonna do wizards? Zombies?
The correct answer is zombies with the Scarab God. That's the correct answer, sir.
Well, zombies with any zombie commander that's in blue.
No, just the Scarab God.
That's for you.
There's only one.
Stop talking.
I have my own commander.
All smart man saying pirates.
Yeah, pirates is a bad. It's in my sliver deck already. It's just going to allow me to run more things in my sliver deck.
Pirates, slivers, spirits. I mean, what else is there?
The
Locust God. It's going in my Locust.
Yeah, Locust God deck.
Yep.
It's needed something like that for a while now.
So doesn't the Locust God, doesn't that just draw you out?
Draw?
Yeah. So you have to have a lab man or something? Yeah.
Or if you have a discard effect, you can always do that.
Yeah. So just so that we go over it, Kindred Discovery is a blue enchantment, 3 blue blue. When it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Whenever a creature you control of the chosen type enters the battlefield or attacks, draw a card. So with obviously the Locust God, where every time you draw a card, you get a insect. If you name insect, every time an insect comes in, you draw a card. But every time you draw a card, you get an insect, and then every time you get an insect, you draw a card. And as you can see, it just goes on and on and on. And
Well,
I guess
and
if you have a,
if you have a way to return it to your hand during all that, you can then make a bunch of them and have a bunch of hasty 1/1s to kill your entire, all your enemies.
And plus, like, impact tremors or something to deal just buttloads of damage.
Yep, they'll die before you draw your entire deck.
Yep. All right, we're at the top of this list.
And my pet card that I'm going to be playing in so many decks, even though it is kind of pricey.
Kind of pricey.
Phyrexian Altar. We've needed a good altar in this format for a while now.
Hey, Altar of Dementia takes that personally.
Is Altar of Dementia in budget?
No.
Yeah, it was. Somebody played
it. Well, it wasn't when I was in here. I literally have only
been $4.97 right now.
Yeah, I've only been in season 2.
What was it on the sheet?
I don't think it was legal even on the sheet.
Maybe it was last season.
It may have been season 1, maybe, but it was expensive even then.
What about Altar of the Brood? Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
Altar of the Brood is definitely.
Yeah. But Altar of the Brood's nowhere near as good as Phyrexian Altar.
That's fair. Yeah. I like Altar of Dementia. Anyway,
generating mana is amazing at 48 cents right now. It is worth playing in my opinion.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of decks that are going to be running this. It is an artifact for 3, and you sacrifice a creature to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. It's not quite as good as Food Chain, but it'll get you there.
No, but I mean, it's as good as we're going to get. Actually, I feel it's better than Food Chain because they go to the graveyard instead of to exile, and only one creature goes to exile, or well, 2 creatures go to the exile that you're going to really cast all the time.
Yeah, that's fair. It's easier to go off with this.
Yeah. Well, in fact, like my Muldrotha deck, like I was saying before the stream, is you have that with an Eternal Witness effect with Living Death, and it goes infinite.
Listen here. What did we talk about? Entertaining stream. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I mean, you said make it quick. I can make them quick with that.
Yeah, if we all recognize that we're all dead. So, but yeah, season 3 is gonna be a power spike. It looks like.
I think so.
There are just so many good things coming.
I really am actually kind of sad when I popped up the price list for Underrealm Lich. I was really hoping that it would stay at the 30 cent.
I mean, we have a week, so you never know. It could go right back down.
Let's
hope. Bush is going to sell all his copies and try to make it look like a back.
I'm not selling any of my copies. I'm hoping everybody else will.
Oh, so you weren't even going to manipulate. You were trying to trick everybody else into manipulating.
It's a horrible card stream. It's a horrible card.
It's a horrible. Yeah.
Tell all your friends. Tell all your friends that it's a horrible card. Sell all their copies on MTGO to GoatBots, please, because if you don't sell it to GoatBots, then it doesn't matter.
Specifically, GoatBots. Get all the stores to sell the GoatBots. GoatBot just needs to collect them.
Because if you sell it to anybody else, it won't actually do anything to our spreadsheet.
Which hey, don't go out running and buying all these cards, people. Just because we told you they're cheap, just because we told you they're gonna be in format, the spreadsheet doesn't clear until Friday. So if you run out and buy all these cards and jack the prices up, you're just gonna mess yourself up and a bunch of us.
You literally are gonna buy them and screw yourself out of the deck.
I already have, I think, most of these cards. I have Lich in a wish list right now. I basically put all my Guilds of Ravnica cards that I want into a wish list on GoatSpots, and it's just sitting in my cart. It's like 12 ticks.
So if you do want to go buy these cards and you don't want to mess up the spreadsheet, buy them from another company other than GoatBots for the time being. I know.
We support them. They kind of help us out.
And we're going to support them right after the sheet.
Cut the stream. Let's cut the VOD. Somebody... Don't tell GoatBots we said this.
But I don't actually mean that. Just wait until after Friday, and then buy until your heart's content.
He's not affiliated with us.
I'm not.
He's just a guest.
I'm not a Phyrexian, even though I technically would love
to.
I'm
not a Phyrexian. We sit as your favorite card up here was Phyrexian Altar.
One last honorable mention, I think, before I'm assuming we're about to start wrapping up, or a couple honorable mentions would be Commander Sphere is actually down to 25 cents.
Oh, nice.
So it's actually, I mean, that's kind of borderline playable for what it does, but I mean, that's a lot cheaper than it was. And then I think I've already seen some people talking about it in the chat, but Command Tower is actually down to 14 cents for season 2 as of right now, or season 3.
Which is a much needed thing for the format.
Yeah.
Which,
I mean, it always sucks when you have Commander cards that we're not playing in Commander. Like, it's because it's a budget format, right? So expensive Commander cards, you're not gonna get to play. And but like some of the this is a staple. It's reprinted constantly every year.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Command
one
Tower
of the
and Commander Sphere.
Yeah.
Though, can we say the same thing about Soul Ring?
What is Soul Ring sitting at?
Too much. It's like
way
3.
too much.
Okay. Oh Jesus.
Yeah.
You search Soul Ring, you get other cards on top of it. Yeah, I mean, I'm fine without.
$2.81 is the cheapest one.
Yeah. I'm fine without Soul Ring. I've been playing without Soul Ring now for so long because between 3DH and then the Praetor Magic videos, because we soft banned Soul Ring to kind of keep those turn 1 Soul Rings out of here, it's fine.
Clicky mentioned Thought Vessel. Thought Vessel's at 29 cents, so that's kind of pushing it for a mana rock that gives you no maximum hand size, but
it's a good I like the fact that it's progressing towards something that we can actually play eventually.
Yeah,
and it's also
people don't run out and buy it.
It also depends a little bit on what is the deck doing. If you are always going to be over maximum hand size, maybe you do need Thought Vessel for the redundancy to Reliquary Tower. Maybe.
So my thing about the Soul Ring, in fact, a lot
of Library of Lang for that.
I'm happy that Soul Ring's not in, but the only reason why I like Soul Ring is for decks that don't have the ramp. I don't really see it as all that big for a green deck. But in black-blue, for instance, there's not a lot of ramp.
I mean, there's a whole mathematical conversation that I'm sure Phyrexian would love to get into, but we don't have time.
But we don't have the time. Maybe that'll be another stream. Tune in 2 or 3 weeks, and we'll have a mathematical discussion.
There you go, Magical Hacker. Do you like math? We're going to talk about math on your first return. Which, speaking of which, to wrap things up, we did talk last week. Valdor is not going to be able to be on Reflections anymore. Bush had asked previously, and we were happy to have him on because again, he's in our 3DH streams all the time. And for a 3DH topic, it was really good to have somebody who knows the format as well as somebody who's as entrenched in it as Bush is, as Phyrexian is, as I am. So on that note, Magical Hacker is going to come back. We had him a few weeks ago. He's going to basically be our stand-in for Valdor, minus the fact of if he ever can't for, life reasons or anything like that, or if a guest wants to rotate in. And of course, we're open to having 4 people on the podcast. That's fine too. But he should be returning next Monday. So everybody be excited about that. We're excited. He was really cool when he was on the podcast. He was very knowledgeable. He was very excited. It's always good to have people who really like what they're talking about. Bush, you brought a lot of energy to the podcast, so we like that. So, thank you, Bush, for being here today. Thank you, Magical Hacker, for coming back. So, and I'm sure we'll have you back too.
Yeah.
On that note,
and thank you for having me.
Of course. On that note, Bush, we had one more announcement, and that is actually for you. You are a very supportive member of our community. You've mentioned before that you are one of our subscribers on the channel. You're one of those people who are always subscribed. You're one of those people who usually end the night with a cheer. You always try to participate in the streams that you're available for, and then when we're done with the games, we do kind of a chit chat session typically afterward, and you're always game to sit there even during the week and sit there and chat and just talk about Magic, right? So we appreciate that. We notice how much you do support us. It doesn't go unnoticed, and on that note, we know that a lot of the cheering and everything, you've always wanted to win the 3DH giveaway deck. So I can't fix it. I can't rig it for you. However, what we can do is that we are going to do a 3DH deck brew with you. No giveaway necessary. It's just yours. It is our thank you for all the support and all the times that you come out and play with us and everything like that. So we thank you very much. We appreciate you. We appreciate you being on the podcast. So we just wanted to give you something back so that we notice. We see you, my friend.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. That's actually quite exciting. I had no clue about that. That's
Yeah, we didn't let you know.
We'll have to get at least the three of us together at some point to work on that. But
yeah,
start thinking about which commander we're going to be talking about.
And of course, we should wait
on the burner.
We should wait till season 3 so that we can get all your favorite cards that we just talked about onto whatever deck you want. So think about what commander you're going to want to do. Think about, everything else. And of course, for those of you who don't know, what we do is if you see in the upper back corner, over there, the cameras always flip for me. So there's a stream boss, and as people follow, sub, cheer, and donate, we deal damage to the stream boss, and when it goes from the 250 max life all the way down to 0, the boss is slain, and whoever does the last blow becomes a new stream boss. What we do is, at the end of that stream boss, we do a giveaway in the chat. Somebody gets the chance to sit down with me, with Phyrexian, with everybody else in the Discord, and basically brew a deck with us that is whatever they want. It could be a combo deck, it could be a pillow fort deck, it could be a group hug deck, and what we do is that we spend the 3 ticks, buy the deck, and send it to you on MTGO. So it's
there is one type of deck it cannot be, Seth.
What's that?
It cannot be a chaos deck.
Oh, you got me. I was so ready to basically be like, no, it could be anything. It is a giveaway. It is free. It could be anything. And you son of a bitch.
Because that's not what I want. I want a chaos.
Well, so it's a good thing that we're gonna do the next giveaway the next time we get a stream. No, it can be anything. It really can be anything.
It really can be. It's just that Dean and I both really hate chaos decks.
No. You're not the only one. I hate chaos.
Yeah.
I mean, red's my least favorite color in Magic, so.
Yeah, all smart man. It can be stacks. It could really be whatever you want. It's always a thank you to you guys who either cheer, follow, subscribe, or even just being here in the chat. For those of you who were, giving us things to talk to while we did this live podcast, that means a lot to us for you guys to come out and spend time with us. So we want to give back as much as we can. So giving 3 ticks back every time, essentially. So the stream boss, for those of you who don't know, each point is basically a penny. So every time we make $25 off the stream, we give 3 of it back. That's the idea, is that we always give something back to you guys for helping us. We don't, we want you guys to we're all part of this community together. That's what we're going for here. So,
and again, if you want to sub to try to help kill the stream boss, you'll actually get other advantages, like being involved in the new 3D8 Chronicle with Phyrexian. So that'll definitely be running a lot through the Phyrexian arena on our sub channel for our Discord for Praetor Magic. So make sure to check that out.
Yeah. I do also want to make just one little thank you-ish comment. Pyreheart, I don't know if he's still in the chat, but Pyreheart's been making a whole bunch of graphic art for us, for Twitter, for YouTube, and for the Discord. If you go down below, all the images that go to all the different links and everything are completely different. They look amazing. He's been doing all that stuff just to do it. Like, we didn't even have to ask him. He just one day sent me a link to a Dropbox, says, here's some stuff I worked on. Did you like it?
Actually,
I said, yes, it looks amazing.
Can you reveal mine? Because I was so happy when he did this.
So he did the cards first, which, hold on, let me... Ooh. So he does these cards for us. You can see Phyrexian's, and then let me find where my layer is. Nope, not that one. There's that one. So he did these cards for us, these customized art cards. He's never asked for anything, so we actually gifted him a sub just because it was the least we could do to really show him that we appreciate how much work he put into it. And he always is like, yeah, it's not a big deal. Yeah, I just enjoy doing the work and blah blah blah. Nah, dude, you're awesome. Thank you. So we try to notice, when people are helping us out, we want to give it back to you guys. Phyrexian, get out of here. Phyrexian in the chat, now we are all the hidden. I appreciate everybody who always comes out to these podcasts. Bush, thank you as always, like I said, for all the cheers and all the times you play in the games, and all the times you just talk with us on Discord. That's awesome. For those of you, go ahead.
I said I enjoy doing it.
Yeah, we enjoy having you. For those of you who are listening to this on Libsyn or SoundCloud or watching us on YouTube, make sure that you are coming to our streams on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at twitch.tv/PraetorMagic. Of course, the YouTube is youtube.com/PraetorMagic. There will be links into the video descriptions and audio descriptions for either the other audio sites or YouTube. Twitter.com/PraetorMagic and Facebook.com/PraetorMagic are our other 2 social medias. So follow us there, and of course, join us in the Discord, which will be in the links down below. Until next Monday, guys, we will be streaming on Wednesday, Frexian and I, and then Frexian is going to give it a shot on this Friday by himself because I will not be around. I have a family event to attend, which I'm very excited about, something with my kids. And I hope you guys have a great stream on Friday, but we will see you on Wednesday. So, Frexian, Bush, any last words?
Hey, if all works out well and GoatBots gets everything going and the spreadsheet's going, that Friday stream will probably be the first 3DH Chronicles. If everything lines up well. If not, I'll just have to play one of my old Season 2 decks, but if it lines up right, that'll be 3DH Chronicles kickoff on Friday.
Oh, man.
The stars align.
So subscribe to the channel so that you can help him brew his deck or maybe tweak or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And I'll definitely throw the list up in the subs before anybody else gets to see it.
Oh man, sneak peeks.
And it's a slow process, but I'm actually getting set up to start streaming myself.
Oh,
but I haven't got everything set up yet, so I'm not even going to reveal that yet until I get everything going. But
all right. Well, when you do get started, we will probably be hosting you whenever you're streaming. So, as again, another thank you. So, all right, guys, that was my last sip of water for the night. See y'all on Wednesday and talk to you in Discord. Peace.
You guys have a great night.
Good night.